everyone, this is your host Prasha and welcome to Her STEM Stories, episode number 52. Today's episode and the episodes for the rest of the month in May are brought to you by Masseur clothing. So as you know, it's springtime here in the US and I'm going through my wardrobe and realizing that I have so many cute clothes that are either from the time that I used to work in the lab or now that I work in a factory and they're not PPE certified or they're just going to get ruined if I wore them at work. So recently on Instagram, I actually found a solution for this problem. Masseur clothing. I recently discovered them and they make the cutest and the most durable clothing for women scientists. Their garments are tailored and designed to look classic and are made of the softest fire, chemical, and stain-resistant fabrics. They incorporate stretchy knit on the side, so that makes it super comfy. I'm actually wearing their Rosalind Franklin pants right now, and let me tell you, these things are heavenly. Masseur is definitely a must-have for professional women in the lab or in factories, and I highly recommend them. We have a special discount code for you guys, so make sure you stay tuned to listen to the story of the founder of Masseur clothing, Bo Vanktrakuldi. And at the end of the episode, we will give away the special discount code, so keep listening.
Welcome to Her STEM Story, a podcast about real women with extraordinary science, technology, engineering, and mathematics stories. In this show, we'll talk to some absolutely inspiring women and highlight some women-led organizations in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We'll learn more about their work, their struggles, and how they think we can close the gender gap in STEM professions. Keep listening to get inspired.
So I work in a factory and I always struggle with finding stylish steel toe shoes. Science and engineering usually comes at the price of style at workplaces like factories and labs. But our guest today is changing this with her company, Masseur Clothing. Bo Vanktrakuldi is the founder of Masseur Clothing and is creating stylish protective wear for women working in labs across the globe. Originally from Thailand, Bo moved to the US for college education and has a PhD in biochemistry and also works as a consultant now. Let's talk to Bo to learn more about her stylish STEM story. Hi Bo, how are you?
Hi Prasha, I'm good. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. You have no idea.
I know, this is awesome. Okay, first of all, you have solved one of my biggest problems, so thank you for that. And I know you're not in shoes yet.
It was my problem too.
Yeah, and I know you're not in shoes yet, but you're getting there. So I am just ecstatic to learn more about this venture and your STEM story. So tell us, what does Masseur stand for?
So Masseur actually came from Latin, and it translates into self-love. And basically, my brand is making protective and also professional clothing that the women scientists that wear them is embody the self-love to themselves, meaning they protect themselves from harm, but also, they could feel confident and also competent and be credible at work. So they could achieve the best that they can be. And that's what Masseur really embody and represent.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it. And again, as I said, I love the whole concept. So, just tell us, how did you come up with this idea?
The way that I was inspired to start Masseur, it's probably a story of me overcoming challenges that happen in my life and kind of unfortunate events. So I am a chemist, PhD chemist and biochemist. I work in the lab over 10 years, and one day when I was doing organic synthesis of anti-cancer drugs, I spilled a mixture of chemical on myself, and the mixture of chemical is solvents, catalysts, and a bunch of things that could potentially cause heart failure. And the spill went through my lab coat, it soaked through my pants, and basically burned my legs. And at the time, I felt really lucky that I was able to remove the contaminated clothing quickly, because again, it could have been so much worse. And so from that experience, it took me, about a week to recover from the spill. And once I returned to the lab, I really it gave me a different perspective regarding safety and how, an accident could potentially harm you at work. And lab coat doesn't always protect you against the things that you're working with. And because of that reason, I was looking into the market for protective clothing for women, things that I could wear back to work so I can feel safe again. And really, in my surprise, there's no protective clothing for women at the time. Now there's more options, but the thing is, as I experience, I think many women scientists experience, is that women scientists doesn't just work in the lab. If you work in the industry, you go to meetings, you meet with your boss, you meet with clients. If you're in the academia, you teach and you have to talk to your PI and give presentation and whatnot. So you can't always look like, you're not credible professional. So there's not current product in the market that really embodies, protective clothing that fit women's body, that's comfortable to wear and also professional. And that's really come together as an idea for Masseur, for us to really create something that cater women's body and women scientists need, and also make them feel confident and beautiful.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So, and I know you are already working with companies like Thermo Fisher, right?
Yeah, so we are in final stages of finalizing conversation with Thermo Fisher to hopefully, get our products into big companies and industry and university. Just really, increasing the chance that women scientists will be able to get our product at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is all really, really awesome. And you started about 4 years ago, right?
The accident happens in 2014. But, at the time, I didn't really think that I thought it was a good business idea, but I don't really have background behind it. It was not until last year that I started Masseur. And a part of it is because during the time that I spent as a postdoc at Penn in 2015 to 2017, I was doing some consulting for a biotech startup company, and I really learned a lot about how to start a business from scratch and to think about commercialization of ideas. And that really gave me confidence last year to really start my own company with Masseur.
What I love about your story and whatever you just shared is that first you had the idea and you took very calculated risks when it comes to kind of making that transition. And I love transitions, honestly. Like, I think there is no STEM career, or there's no career without transitions. We all have to find our footing and take that leap of faith. And you did that so beautifully, because I love that, you worked and understood how to run a business and kind of use those skills now to actually launch a business. So, what kept you hustling these past few years where you were, kind of getting drawn towards business?
Personally, from my standpoint, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather had his own business that he built from the ground up and become really successful and really create an impact in my community in Thailand. My dad have his own architecture firm that he grew also from the ground up. So I have seen that when you work really hard toward a great idea and you really put a great people behind it and, really think smartly about how you could impact people around you, it could be successful. So I already have that mindset. But I have been a scientist for so long. And I think, as a scientist, as you said, we really calculated, we're really good at planning and really study it through until you feel confident to achieve something. And that's a part of why it's taking me so long to start this business. But when I get started, I have to say it's one little actionable steps over the other that really push it to where it is today. Like, I think the really beginning days of starting Masseur, it was me putting Masseur as an LLC. And once it's an LLC, it's like a thing, it's an organization, it's a company, then I was like, oh my God, this is a real thing. So I guess I better do something with it now. And that really propelled me towards working to move it and see if this is actually could create values. And that really stemmed into me having conversation with over 100 women scientists, having conversation with everyone, strangers, recruiting everybody, fashion designer, and just to see, that this is something with a mission and a mission that people can get behind. It's really a way that this has grown to where it is today.
Yeah, no, that's just so empowering, because I feel like there is so much power in little steps that people ignore because they're looking at this huge mountain that they have to climb, but they don't realize that, just do something for like 5 minutes, and over time it compounds and kind of creates something beautiful, little by little, right?
It is, and it is hard. And I want to share this story that last year. So I left UPenn, University of Pennsylvania, as a postdoc in 2017 in May. And I went to a really big corporate consulting firm working for biotech companies. I was there for about a year and a half. And I was basically fired after a year and a half because they figured out I was doing a side business. So, like last year, during the time of October to maybe like January, I basically jobless doing Masseur and just have to keep pushing it because I still believe in the mission. And now that I think, our milestone is probably take another year or so for it to be profitable, then I came back to work in a 9-to-5 job to support the business again. And I thought that it would be good to share because, as an entrepreneur, things are not easy. And it's hard sometimes to really keep moving forward. But I do believe in the mission. I do believe that my products can make impact to women scientists. And then there are others that could be beneficial from my product. That's why me and my team still keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I think this is a great story to share, because I guess people just see like the glitter and, oh my God, she has a business, oh my God, she has a product, and they kind of don't realize how much hard work goes into it, and as you said, a lot of hustling and a lot of working over time and doing things that need to get done. You really need to have a mission, as you said. You really need to really believe in what you're selling, and which is so evident from your products as well as your brand. It's super nice to see it on Instagram. I think it's very nicely designed, and you can see that you really care about this, which is great.
Yes, we do. Not just me and my team.
Yes, everyone, all of you guys. I hear a lot of stuff around entrepreneurship. You hear most of it in Silicon Valley and areas that are more tech-based. And I think entrepreneurship is a big part of STEM because, any STEM career requires some kind of entrepreneurial skills because, you have to solve problems at the end of the day, get results. And it's very data-driven, and it's very, it's cutthroat in places like technology. So I honestly feel entrepreneurship is a great skill to have, but I also see a lot of scientists now venturing into entrepreneurial projects, big or small. But how would you suggest a scientist who's probably listening to this today and going I have an idea, but I really don't have the time in the day. How did Bo figure this out, with everything that goes on? What could that be, one thing that they could do today sitting in their lab?
Yeah, so I would suggest exactly what I did and became successful in being an entrepreneur, I think, in some aspect, which is take small steps. Like Prasha, for you, you like to create a podcast, so you probably start a small step of either start a website or just start interviewing someone or reach out to someone you like to talk to. So that is a small step. If someone would like to be entrepreneurial in terms of, starting their own blog or being a coach, or if they want to do something with their technologies, I would be, like figure out how to start a biotech company, and just learn what small step could get you there. For me, it was doing research in the beginning to see that there's no other product out there that will serve women scientists like Masseur will. And then it turns into, like starting an LLC, figure it out what the business would be, and then really, start putting a team together to work together to drive company to grow. Now, part of it too is, to figure out if there's a need for your products. I think that is one of the most important thing, whether that's going to be a biotech, life science, whether a service coaching or a product, fashion products, or, protective gear like mine is to figure out if there's a market for it. And if there's not, what are ways to serve the challenges that people have. And a lot of people who are mentors of mine have told me this, rather than creating the product that will sell, is to look for where there's a problem and go solve it. And by doing that, then you will create a product that there will be a need, and that will turn into a successful business no matter what.
Yeah, no, you said it just really well, because, I started with just the domain name. I said, oh, if a .com exists, I'm going to do this. And it did. I mean, it's really silly. Like, I remember that moment so clearly. And I pay the $30 or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I have a website. Oh my God. Just the excitement is phenomenal. I think no matter how much money you make in the end, like that first ray of hope is really, really empowering, right?
Yeah, so I guess in short, figure out a way to solve people problems and then start making small steps toward creating that thing that solves other people problems.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know what it is? I think both the problem or the blessing, it's a double-edged sword. But I feel like the social media aspect of all this, where everything's so glamorized, everything's in your face, and people are getting popular overnight. People just don't have enough, enough patience. Like, I didn't have enough patience. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do something huge. And guess what? I didn't do anything for years because I'm going to do something huge. And I think all this kind of just distracts you from taking that little step that needs to be taken in the right direction. Right?
Yeah, but I think you could agree with me. The key of being an entrepreneur a successful entrepreneur especially, is to do something that you actually want to do, something that you're passionate about. For me, I really like business. I really like clothing. I really like things that fit my body just because I'm a little curvy. So, throughout this process, designing for things that fit women's body and just get to be in the fashion world, meeting people in fashions really energized me, and really, turn on my creative side. So that's why, I'm still here, keep doing what I do. And the fact also that our brand is really look forward to empowering women scientists, to our end goal is actually to have women feel more confident so they could advance their career, to be in a more leadership position. And that mission really resonate with me, and that's why I go back and work hard every day to make this business grow.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, because I guess you're right. Like, people need to really care for what they're doing, because otherwise it won't be sustainable, and you won't be able to put enough energy, because this has to be the source of energy. If this also takes your energy, then you won't have the energy and the time and the effort that it needs to keep pushing. So anyone who's listening, if you're doing something that feels like a chore and it just kills you to do it, stop and try to find things that make you happy and do a little bit of it. And, we all procrastinate. I mean, I'm sure you procrastinate too. I mean, we all procrastinate at some point where we're like, oh, I don't want to do it today, but when you do it in spite of all that is when you really know that it matters, right? Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. And I know, you have also navigated through a lot of challenges by using your network, and kind of that has been a huge part of your journey. So tell us a little bit about, networking and how to build relationships when it comes to, being in a secluded lab or, not having a lot of team members to work with, especially in a university kind of environment. So tell us a little bit about networking.
Yeah, so I see networking in two ways. For one is networking with the people or keeping in touch with people that you already know and kind of leveraging your network to grow your career or your business. And the second point will be to continue to network with people that you don't know yet. So grow your network, per se. In terms of keeping in touch and leveraging people that I know, I often see different strength of people that I come across. And I am not really shy of reaching out and get help. A part of it is because I can't do everything, and everyone, like a person cannot be an expert in everything. So I really do believe in working together with a team, with different people, with different skill set. And from that standpoint, I am able to leverage my network, gaining advisor in business development, building my relationship with a fashion designer that I starting to get to know, and just different colleagues who are women scientists who I reach out on a regular basis and be like, you like this? You don't like this? How can I improve this? Like, if I have to prioritize, what should I do? So I try to, really reach out for help when I need one and not keep it to myself. And in terms of networking to grow my personal connections or my own connections, I try to do it really authentically. When I go places, to network, I'm not there to hand out cards, or I'm not there to, really collect names or add people on LinkedIn, but to really have a meaningful conversation with one or two people wherever I go. I actually stopped carrying my business card now, just so I could remember their name.
Oh, nice. That's a good trick.
And really, really get to know them in a personal level. And I feel that is more important and so rare in a current stage where it's all about transaction. So that's what I'm trying to do. And in a way, once I get to know them personally, I'm able to reach out to them later on to either ask for help or offer some help on the key areas that they seem to have challenges.
No, I think you gave some really good tips on networking. I feel like people just are very inauthentic in their networking because everyone's there to get something out of it. And I think that's the biggest turnoff. Like, if you go to a networking event and somebody's just there because they want to give you the business card, they want to sell something, it's off-putting. And, as humans, we can sense authenticity. And when you're like authentically there just to really meet more people, that comes across. Like, you don't have to show for it, right? You just be.
When I was younger, I used to be like that. I was really transactional. It's all about the numbers of people I can hand out cards to. It's about the number of people I can add on LinkedIn. But I just feel really exhausted and feel that that's really not productive in terms of building relationship with someone. And I really changed this thing. And in a conversation also, or the way I do business these days is more about personal relationship and creating relationship with someone in a deeper level than trying to sell things quickly.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Especially again, I keep coming back to social media, but I think social media is a part of this discussion, whether it's new networking or just, starting your business or whatever. But you can become more transactional if you don't watch what you're putting out, and if you don't watch like how you're supporting your community. So I guess social media is a great place to like build communities. Like LinkedIn is a great place to build communities, but not just to like add people just for the sake of it. So. Yeah, so that's incredible, and I think what I'm getting from all this is just that if your message is clear, and if you're authentic, right, you can push through any challenges, and you could actually use and create a more authentic and bigger network that can help you in your dreams. So
Yeah, and
that's
don't be afraid to ask for help. You'd be surprised how many people around you just willing to, you know, reach out or offer their expertise to help you out in some ways. I mean, that's what humans are about, right? We work as a team.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like some people get so like attached to what they're working on. They don't want to share because they feel like people will think they're stupid or people will steal it. And, even worse, like people won't care and, oh, I'm going to come across as, this or that. And it's just a lot of times I think people don't do anything because they think what people are going to think about it. And it's like, the stupidest thing in the world. I mean, you
Yeah.
do you and forget about everything else. You do you and be ethical in all you do, be respectful in all you do, but don't let the thought of someone else's judgment of you stop you from doing anything.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
just
not
an
what it is.
example. I'm running a clothing line when I can't sew. I can't make clothes. So like the first thing I really do, I reach out to a local fashion designer. She's like number one on my list, and I have like a few other ones on my list, but she's like absolutely number one. And I talk to her first, and it's just basically, like, would you have a conversation with me? I have this idea, but I need a fashion designer to help me make prototype. And we went and meet and at her shop, and I basically pitched my business idea to her, and then she was on board. And I think back, without her, I mean, I wouldn't be here today because of her. She connect me to a really great pattern designer, and then she connect me to her friends who produce garment within Philadelphia, where I am currently, and that's really make this possible. So, without reaching out for help and trying to make clothes myself, I wouldn't, like, I don't think, like Masseur will be where it is today. And that's just one example of many where I think I rely on other people to kind of accomplish my goals.
Oh, yes, yes. That's a huge, huge, huge part of entrepreneurship and even like life in general. People who achieve more things in life don't do it by themselves. It's a bunch of other people who support them, but they also take the time to refine their idea and sell it, and keep selling it and keep hearing no's. I'm sure you've heard a lot of no's, and you just have to be comfortable with it, right?
Yeah, but it also go both ways, Prasha, and I think you might agree with me. Like if someone reach out to me and ask me advice about career or something like that, I'm more inclined to help out because someone else has helped me in the past. If there's something that I could contribute 15 minutes, half an hour to help them work through something, then I want to, kind of pay it forward to the people that helped me before.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I agree. I mean, there is a lot of yeses, but there's a lot of no's, but there are a lot of yeses. And to your point, I think um, you will be pleasantly surprised that there are many more good people in the world than there are bad people. Right? I haven't come across one single bad person in like 18 months of doing this. I just haven't. So,
Unless you're creepy and you're just trying
oh, I
to
know.
leave
Yeah,
creepy messages on people's
I'm not
Facebook
that
or something,
popular
and I'm
yet.
like,
I'm not that popular yet, so I'm going to keep that as a blessing for now. So, I am interested in knowing, like, what is that one thing you wish you knew 4 years ago when you first came up with this idea?
I wish I could start it earlier. Because to be honest, as a student, you kind of have that it's easier for you to reach out to people and people listen.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
100%. I think with a name like UPenn and, just being around that education community that has so many pitch competitions and, all the entrepreneurial stuff that goes in colleges is phenomenal.
I am still leveraging my network at UPenn now, but, like if I started earlier when I was still at UPenn, I can see me, like leveraging much more resources for free.
Yeah.
Even.
Yes, I know.
Or like people will like pick up a phone call because you're like, oh, I'm a student from Penn. I want to learn about something. So I wish I started earlier. But also I wouldn't have, I guess, the maturity of where I am today to kind of do it differently from when I was then. So I don't know. I guess I will do it earlier. So maybe I fail faster or I succeed faster. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's not about, regrets, but it's just about, reflection that, something could have been more beneficial or different or just something that might have helped you at the time, like if I had to look back and say, what was that one thing if I knew like 18 months ago that this show will bring me, the opportunities that it has and the skills that it has, I would have been more consistent with, I have produced a lot of episodes, but I would have produced even more. So like, that's just how I see it. Like, I thought it was just, whatever, So sometimes we underestimate ourselves, right?
Yeah. I guess I see any business or any activity that you do in like 3 phases. Like there's like the beginning, which is really hard. And then like where you grow a little bit and you try to pivot, that's really hard. And then when you try to get out of it, that's really hard.
It's impossible, because you have to think, and they say that you have to think about endings, not that you have to end anything, but you got to keep that in your in your mind that down the road at some point, just like everything else, this will come to an end. And that's a conversation for another time, but it's also a very deep conversation, like philosophically. Yeah, no, that's super interesting. So one more question I had for you was, did you ever face any immigration related struggles with your business, or it was a little different for you in that aspect?
Interesting questions, because I do agree that immigration is really important of starting the business. I already had a green card when I started an LLC. So that was not a big deal for me. And now that I have a green card, then I can register as a woman-owned business. But I think that, without a green card, I'm not quite sure actually legally if you can start your own business. But, an LLC is similar to having your personal tax. It's just a way for you to protect yourself if for some reason, I go bankrupt or something, then it won't affect your personal finances. So anyone could start anything as long as it starts slow and grow steady.
Yes, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? So you gotta pace yourself. It's not a sprint.
Yeah, I think if you have a green card, for sure you could start a company. I'm not sure about international student, but you can start something.
Correct.
Even just trying it out to see how it would work, and go from there.
And don't you think, like, sometimes I talk to some people and I feel like I was just like that, where I had to first figure out how to register this. And I'm like, why do I care? Like, I need to do something first. Like, build a prototype, talk to the person, record the interview, write the blog, do the first step, and don't worry about, LLC or C Corp or D Corp or E Corp, don't worry about all that. Like, that will come in time. So, I think that's a great point that whether immigrant or non-immigrant, at least get started. And if you're an immigrant, then try to work towards your green card and try to go from there. Because I know the reason I asked, and I was curious because we just interviewed Arjita, who is an entrepreneur, and she had a whole her story revolves pretty much around her struggle of getting to America, and not getting to America, but like sustaining her business in America, and while trying to figure out the whole green card situation. And it's really
that's entire different thing.
I know, but at the same time, I do know. I would still say that to do something like this in a country that you're not born in, and the country where you're far from your family or where you're from, brings a lot of challenges that a lot of people don't realize, right? So I definitely want to give you kudos for being a woman, but also being an immigrant woman-owned business. And we are so excited to be collaborating with you on this Masseur-sponsored episode series, where we'll be where you guys are helping us bring these episodes. So I am really looking forward to this collaboration and how we can all work together in the future as well.
Yes, it's about women supporting women.
Yes, definitely. So before I let you go, I really want to know, what's your favorite book?
Yeah, so to be honest, I don't read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks. I mean, I guess that's reading, right? Listening.
Yeah,
reading,
100%. Oh my God. I have listened to, last year I read 61 books, and they were all on Audible. So,
yeah.
Yes,
So
please.
I guess that's reading
it counts.
books. And I really like Brene Brown. Have you heard of her?
Oh my God. Did you see her Netflix special?
I will be watching it this weekend.
You got to. It's awesome.
This week.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I
her.
believe you.
I love her.
And
Sorry,
I
got
her,
very excited.
Yeah, I love her book, Dare to Lead. And it's all the things I really talk about and I try to implement in my life, which is, think of, facing challenges and adversity with humility, meaning that you can't always be everything. And the more you could communicate what your weakness is to people around you and trying to find someone else to fill in your weakness, the more you're going to be successful as an individual, as a leader, as a team, and or a business owner, or an entrepreneur. And that's something that really resonates with me and I'm trying to implement every day in my life.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bo, for everything that you're doing. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you and Masseur Clothing.
Yes. Thank you. And share it with everyone.
And that was Bo with her incredible STEM story. And now it's time for the discount code. So for limited time, Masseur Clothing is offering her STEM Story listeners 15% off any order with the code HERSTEM15. Go to MasseurClothing.com right now to find your next lab power outfit and get 15% off your purchase. That is Masseur Clothing, which is AMORSUI Clothing.com with the code HERSTEM15. Please use the links in the episode notes to access their website and also to follow Bo on her incredible entrepreneurship journey. Next week, we're celebrating Mother's Day with Raquel Nunu, who is a space geologist. And this story is incredible. I mean, the power of motherhood and also how Raquel actually maneuvered through the STEM field. So make sure you celebrate Mother's Day with us next 2 weeks. Thank you so much for listening.